Good morning, team. It's Bowie, Super Coach. Wanted to come to you this morning with a really quick video, and it's very appropriate being that it's Monday. I know a lot of agents, correctly so, tend to quarantine Mondays for prospecting, which is outstanding. Unless you've got someone who's ready to buy or ready to sell and you've met them before and that's the only time they could do, I would be strongly suggesting that part of your ideal week and ideal day is Monday is definitely put aside to generate more business and involve yourself in some success marketing by prospecting. So it's Monday, you know you've got to make calls. What's the order of priority in terms of who do you call and what to say? Okay, a key word for this type of activity needs to be propensity. I really want you to tattoo that into your brain for the entire year in terms of propensity. The literal translation for that is a tendency for people to act a certain way. The translation piece for real estate is who can we call today that is very close to listing their property or very close to buying our property. So it basically means in order of priority, who is the most important call to make or the most important calls to make being a Monday. So number one, assuming you had open houses and or auctions over the weekend, it's Monday. What's your propensity or priority order? Number one, in my opinion, would be your hot list or your chase list. These are people that you've been to appraise in the last few weeks that are on a priority list or a chase list that you know will sign an agency agreement to list and sell their property in the next 30 days with you or someone else, hopefully you. So you've got a great story to tell on a Monday. You've got clearance rates. You've got how many people you had at your open for inspections. You had how your auctions went. There's absolutely no better time and there's no better priority in terms of number one call to make on a Monday, and to make sure that you're highly focused on propensity and priority and urgency, and to call your chase list and hot list. Number two, your hot buyers list. Yes, buyers make up 50% of a transaction. I'm amazed how many agents aren't focused on buyer work. So these are your hot buyers. The absolute beauty of calling these on a Monday is that some auctions didn't sell, some open houses didn't go so well. This is an opportunity for you to be able to match buyers with listings. Now, they might be yours listings, they might be your colleagues' listings. In fact, you could even direct some hot buys to competitors' listings with zero expectation of remuneration, and that's okay. Why? Because you're adding value and you're doing the right thing. So, hot sellers, chase list, hot buys, who's the next group of people you should be contacting in order of propensity? In my opinion, it's your vendors. You want to be giving them an update. And I know you probably spoke to them on Saturday, but let me tell you, when that clock's ticking on a Monday, whether it's 9, 10, 11 o'clock, if they haven't heard from you, things are festering in their head. Things are obviously quite open in terms of what they believe you're doing on a Monday morning to make sure that their property's being sold. So providing them a brief update, even if you need to give them a call later in the day once you've done your callbacks, but a great opportunity to touch base and say, just wanted to let you know, Adrian, I'm just about to launch into all the callbacks. I did speak to some of them on Saturday afternoon that I could get through, but I'm doing my second round today and I'll update you later. I just wanted to let you know that I'm working really hard on your property, and there's nothing more important to me than calling everyone who's been through and actually making sure that we're matching through our buyer database and through my colleagues open for inspections who we could have met in order to progress your property towards one more step to getting it sold. So really important. The next one, in my opinion, number 4, would be your callbacks. Now, these are people who obviously have been through on the weekend, who you haven't managed to get through on a Saturday afternoon, if you're inclined to do a callbacks on a Saturday, and really making sure that you're unpacking and qualifying these people to see, are they serious buyers? At what journey are they at in terms of their buying process to actually buy real estate? Is it just a pre-approval? Is it formal approval? Are they still submitting documents to the bank? Now, this would also, in my opinion, be a great segue to number 5, which should be your hot buys on each individual campaign. So these people who have taken a contract and or been through a couple of times through the property. How are you feeling? I noticed you didn't come back on Saturday. Did you see something else? You know, my obligation is, in order to help you and to provide my client, my seller, with transparent feedback, just to provide a really open conversation to my client around where you're exactly at on this property. It's scheduled for auction in 2 weeks. If the auction was tomorrow, where do you think you'd be in terms of price? I know that you're still going through the finance process. Just so I can report accurately to my client, do you mind if I ask you exactly where you're at in terms of that journey? Is it unconditional, ready to buy? The other question you might ask them is, what's your situation? Also asking other questions like, you know, you obviously are very keen on this particular property due to the location. Rather than just defaulting back to what we learnt 20 years ago, which was just asking buyers around budget, area, bedrooms, bathrooms, why don't we ask some more detailed questions around, hey, how do your kids get to school? Where do they go to school? What are your hobbies? Does this area suit hobbies? Can I let you know about the neighbours? The owners have told me in detail what their neighbours are like. This is really adding a lot of value that not many agents are doing, so I would highly recommend that. Number 6 needs to be, in order to create that propensity and just see who's making a move, would be your client base. And this would be, in my opinion, your pipeline sellers in your CMA. Now remember, adding value is absolutely ideal when you're calling these people. As Seth Godin said in ARIC last year, I believe it was, you know, don't treat your database like pipelines or prospects. Treat them like students that you're educating. Now, how do you educate students? By adding value and providing information. Now, if I'm a property owner in a certain suburb or in your core suburb, do I want to know if a property sold and how much it sold for and what the buyer demographic was, what the land size was? Absolutely. If it didn't sell, where you're actually up to, 100%. That's something I definitely want to know. The next point, which is absolutely critical, is making sure that speed around leverage marketing and speed around success marketing is absolutely spot on. Because if you're taking too long to follow your success or leverage marketing checklist, which could include door knocking, cold calling, letterbox dropping, social media geotargeting, any of those, or requesting a review, for example, any of those things that take more than 24 hours, business hours after the weekend, I think is just way behind. And frankly, if you don't do it, competitors are going to do it on your behalf. So I strongly recommend that you follow that propensity and urgency checklist today on a Monday to get the absolute best out of your business and to ensure that you're propelling yourself as someone who's top of mind in your marketplace. Have a great week. Have a happy Monday. God bless and live with virtue.